The sun's starting to come up. Been very peaceful here until now. Surprisingly, the greenhouse is really quite tidy for me, so I don't mind showing you it before. What I do need to do is get all these pots back to either B&Q or Dobby's, my local garden centre, where you can recycle all your plastic pots. I might keep a label of each of the plants. Lincoln's come to say hello to you. He could obviously hear my voice. Excuse me. These bags are brilliant. They're ancient. I used to have my own little shop called the Olive Box, and in it I sold gardening tools and things. So I'd love to resurrect it one day. I gave it up purely because of my own work commitments, but I sold things like this sign was from there, the dibbers. Everywhere I look there's something in here. The welly boot stand from the Olive Box. And I really miss my shop. I might start it as an online presence because it was great. I'm got to meet like-minded people. I'm still hopeful that the poor wisteria that the workmen broke will survive, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Let's be optimistic. Do you remember last year where I found this set by the side of the road? Absolutely love it here. The next thing to be done is the Wishing Well water project. I'm just going to wait for the flowers, the bulbs to all flower, and then that's going to be a little pool of water with a gentle fountain in it. It'll be such a lovely place to sit, isn't it? Under the canopy of the oak trees. Nestled against the cottage. Good morning, welcome to the Tudor Cottage Diaries. My name is Heidi and you're welcome here. Please click like and subscribe, it really helps my channel grow. On that note, what's growing in the garden at the end of January 2024 has been a mixed bunch of warm weather, 12 degrees, cold weather, -7, and 3 named storms I believe have come through. Yeah, luckily no damage to the garden. Yeah, let's go and have a tour around the garden. This garden at the back is southeasterly facing, so we get the sunrise here and then the sun travels overhead the garden, and then we are left out the front in a north facing garden, which seems to keep the sun a lot longer than at the back here, which really struggles in the height of summer for daylight. So in the rose garden at the moment, still got lots and lots of colour. Really impressed with the colour that we've got here. The heucheras are just starting to come up here. The hellebores are showing their lovely faces. There's some bulbs coming through. This is all newly planted in 2020, late 2022, early 2023. So not an established garden yet. We have got absolutely loads of honesty plants and I have been taking those out, but that would be really lovely to see the bright purple of those flowers and then those gorgeous like almost silver pennies that you get left with at the end of the season. glorious skimia here. This skimia was a transplanted plant, so it's about 3 years old, and it's really put on some nice growth. Behind that you can see the skeletal branches of the Olivia Rose Austin. Olivia Rose, absolutely stunning plant. And then put amongst these beds are quite a few of my David Austin collection. We've got some Desdemona here, Silas Mariner. Alliums are starting to break through despite the cold. We've carried over a lot of Vivinia Valencia, which you can just see here. I've done a bit of a cut back on those and tried to get those branch out a little bit more. But yeah, lots and lots of daffodil bulbs coming up through these beds. Underneath these make do cloches are the dahlias and the agapanthus, just to protect them from the cold weather. This is a rather large agapanthus, which I hope is fine under there. Sculpturally in here, I do like to collect rusty plant supports, so you will see those throughout this back garden, and most of them I got for Christmas and birthdays. Through this border here, I've still left some of the ferns in the green, and we've still got the majestic grasses. You either love them or hate them, grasses. I'm very new to growing grasses, so this is the first garden I've had them in. They have made it into 3 of the rose beds. This one is missing a grass. When I see one and I like it, I will get it. I think if I looked back at last January, I mentioned this. We still need to gravel this area, so we're still 6 gravel bags away from completing the rose garden. Yeah. Coming through in front of the stables, we have got the clematis arch. This has had a really good chop down, and you can just see it's starting to sprout here, and this puts on thunderous growth in sunny weather. And then in front of my office, we've got this absolutely gorgeous camellia, which is residing in its frost protection at the moment, and this is strawberry parfait. It's a beautiful bush that's susceptible to frost, so that has been covered up. Through this border you would have seen me using the cardboard method of mulching, so I've gone round the shrub plants in here with cardboard, and then I've top layered with a thick layer of mulch, probably 2 inches of mulch, and I'm trying to get on top of ground elder, which has been the bane of my life throughout the last 4 years of gardening on this spot. Look at the trunk of this tree. I'd forgotten the name of it again. It was on Gardener's World a few episodes ago, so I'll try and find the name of it. But absolutely love this plant, so I'll drop that. Should be appearing on your screen about now. Sedums still need a cutback, but I'm quite liking them. When the frost is on them, it looks really, really pretty. So here we have another rose, and this is an anniversary rose, and I think we did get that for our anniversary. The ceanothus is showing a bit of frost damage, but other than that, that's the best it's grown. So I think it is, isn't it? A year to sleep, year to creep, and a year to leap is the saying for the gardening. New here is I discovered that 2 roses I planted in this border were actually climbers. I did buy them without labels, so yeah, this is what happens when you do that with clearance areas. So they've now got some structure to grow up. Last year they were just flopping everywhere. Success story with the snowdrops. So I've got a little clump here, and I'll show you the rest of them. So this garden has massive drifts of snowdrops in banks and under hedges, and what I've slowly been doing over the last few Januaries is, once they've flowered, is dividing them, putting back a reasonably sized clump where I got them from, and then spreading the rest of the snowdrops throughout the borders. And then that way I should, by the time I'm a very old lady, have drifts of snowdrops through all of this. Charity garden time. So we do a charity garden for a local children's school called Rose Road, and this is the plants that are going to their garden, and we're doing that in March, so I'll take you with us. and we do that with a group of friends from a VW club, and with the backing of B&Q, we go and we help them with their garden because they have to rely heavily on charity. I've bit the bullet and I've bought out the ceramic pots. They are all raised, so water will not sit in them. That was my worry with these, because they were a bit of an expense, and there's 7 of them. If you allow water to sit in the actual pot and it freezes, then that's what expands and cracks your pots. So these are all raised, or in this instance, they are over a drainage hole, which I had to hook all the slugs out of. They got relocated to the compost heap because I don't like killing them. I'd rather they went to work in my compost heap than me pour salt or something horrific over them. Coming through here, we've got, so anything that's in a terracotta pot is last year's bulbs. Anything in the green pots are this year's bulbs, which have been residing in the greenhouse. And at the moment, I'm a bit concerned about those because, as you can see, just soil. Coming through some more of the moved drifts of snowdrops, and we've got some more here, and then the big clumps of snowdrops are up through. You can just see them coming up through here towards the back, white tips coming through and then coming through, and then there's loads underneath the front hedge. Hydrangea border is looking really tidy. It's had its top mulch in here. We've had a lot of activity from Mr. Mole, who's been digging up some most beautiful soil, as you can see around the skimmia. This is a gorgeous skimmia in the white, and we've got the snowdrops feeding through in front of the hydrangeas. So eventually this should be alive with butterflies and bees, because the hydrangeas are just gonna take over this whole area. Got some snowdrops through here. This rose does need final hack back to an outward facing bud, which will be that one, but I had to let it flower, but it's gone over now. And then coming through here, we've got the euphorbias, skimmias, more hellebores. Yeah, so the back garden, there is colour here. There is colour and there is light. On the cottage wall, the 2 roses have had their hard prune. These are ancient roses, and I have this one I'm going to take here. I want the shoots to go off in that direction. I don't know how I missed that. That was a bit of a bad prune, but yeah, they've had a really hard prune. And then in the greenhouse, everything seems to be doing okay in there. Everything that I sowed late last year is about 50-50 success rate there. We've still got roses to go in the rose garden, the new one in the front garden, which we're going to go and visit now. At the back, we've got the citrus, we've got the lemon tree, and we've got the little satsuma tree there. They're doing really well. They're in a greenhouse and they've got some frost protection over the top of them, but other than that, this greenhouse isn't heated. This is quite a sunny border that's had nothing in it until we moved the hydrangea papillons into here, and the silver dollars, and those are the plume head hydrangeas. We've got hellebores in here, we've got cyclamen in here, we've got euonymuses in here, euphorbias. Yeah, so this should now start showing some colour as we come through into summer. And this is what 1,000 crocus bulbs look like. You could say I'm a tad disappointed at the moment, but I think I just need to be a bit more patient. The sink area's had a good tidy up. The pots are stacked. The bulbs are doing their bit in the pots. Behind there, I've got one of my snowberries that I've planted there with the viburnum, which will then pick up the white tips of this. I've only just noticed that the pond's not working. Normally, we're surrounded by noise here. That's a bit of a worry. So it might have tripped out, which means none of the offices and the stables have got power. So I better go and report in to the man that does and see if he can have a look at that for us. Yeah, pond area looking a bit at the moment, but that will be lifted as soon as this warmer weather comes through and the plants start to spring into life. By the way, Blessed in bulk to everybody, and happy St. Bridget's Day. Yeah, so I've been making my Bridget crosses. I've got my Bridget dolly, my bridey dolly, ready to go beside the hearth tonight, as with the tradition for the first day of official spring. Worst of the weather comes across this way and hits the side end of the cottage. So here you can see the hedge needs to be at its thickest in the winter. So we're thinking about layering this hedge and actually thickening it up a bit more. Along the front of the cottage, we've got all the tete-a-tetes are showing themselves. This looks absolutely stunning in early spring when they all come out. The 2 Buxus spools, I don't know if they're going to survive or not, but they caught the blight at the end of last year. The Daphne here, not showing any buds on it, which would be disappointing. It's flowered once when I bought it, but not had any flowers on it since, so I'm obviously doing something wrong. Roundabout was a huge project at the beginning of last year, if you look back on the videos. I'm so pleased with it now. It's got a lot more colour, there's a lot more plants in it, a lot more interest. The turf here didn't do well with all of the rain we've had. We've had quite a bit of flooding in the garden, but yeah, really pleased with that. Some of the bulbs are coming up, so this should start to lift very soon and become beautiful again. Oh my goodness, it's so hilly where the moles have been digging. Yeah, you would have seen the mess that this got left in by the workmen that came to deal with the mains leak, but this is looking a little bit better. There's going to be some colour. Hopefully the lupins survived. If not, I've got plenty waiting to come out in the greenhouse. I tied up the honeysuckle. Forgive me for the nylon string, I just couldn't find my garden string. I will come through and replace that if I remember. There's Rowan, our pet robin. So this is the one that nests in my office and follows me around the garden. Has its babies in my office. If you follow me on Instagram, the video is on the top of my Instagram page and it says Robin's in my office, so have a look at those. We've got the lupins are looking amazing. They're looking in rude health as they're starting to come through. Contestiants. I can't say it. This thing. Contestiants. Oh, I just got dive bombed by 2 robins then. Okay. Yeah, this is looking really good. I've cut some of it back. I'm probably going to take this branch back because I don't want it shading anything out, but it's actually quite nice from the other end of the garden because you don't then see the oil tank. Choicea Sundance had a little bit of scorching at the bottom there from the frost, but other than that it's looking okay. A bit leaning over. And then the variegated buddleia, I'll probably take this back half its size today, so that it's not going to be a bit of a thug in this area. Himalayan prunus is looking really good and ready to go. That's going to be exciting to see. It's really funny, as I'm walking through, all the birds are waiting for me to move so that they can go and visit the bird feeding station. All of these snowdrops here are all transplanted from under the hedge, where we're going to look in a minute where the big drifts of them are. I'm really pleased with those because I thought they'd rot off with all of this wet weather we've had. Magnolia. It's only a little stela magnolia. We've got 2 of those. Coming through, the heathers are still looking okay. The other Magnolia stela is here. Not looking quite so good, considering we've had all the wet, but maybe the wet's affected them. This needs a good tidy up. I'll take these down in a few weeks. Tidy up through here, because there's still brambles in here. Lots and lots of brambles. The Nadina domestica is looking lovely. I always call that the heavenly bamboo plant. It's either flowering or it's got berries on it. So it gives me loads of pleasure, that one. This is an azalea. This azalea was pre-existing in this garden but was in a pot. So I turfed it out of its pot. It's been here ever since and seems to be loving it. We've got more camellias here. And this was the rescue weeping prunus tree that I put in last January. This was a real bargain plant. I think this plant was £6. Yeah, and it's going to fill this area with beautiful colour. This is meant to be to stop the dog through this part, which he does fairly frequently. We've got the snowdrops coming through, more daffodils there, little prunus there just finishing flowering. I dare say it, that it's so joyous to be in the sun. My back is absolutely cosy and warm. There we go, front garden in the warm. We need to look at the thatch on the chicken house. How are they all doing? We're getting about 4 eggs a day. One's laying at the moment. They're looking well and healthy. One's having a dust bath. Don't know if you can see that. Under the massive cedar tree. Let's give you a view up. We're going to take the ivy off because that's doing it no good. So that'll come off today. Then underneath here, we're slowly underplanting it with cyclamen, snowdrops, ferns. We've got some epimediums here, which should be flowering fairly soon. And then we've got this multi-stem rhododendron in here, which is absolutely massive and invasive in the New Forest, but I quite like this one, so it's going to stay for the moment. And then to the border, so this border has been done the most since we moved in, so I think this is its 5th incarnation. I'm happy I got there in the end. So that's a lesson for anyone that is struggling, is just try again. Honestly, people, if you've got something that's not working, move it, replace it. Don't give up, and then you'll end up with something beautiful. Christmas trees, 1, 2. And then the compost bins. This is the maternity unit for the chickens when they go broody, in the vain hope that one day we will have chicks. It's never happened. As soon as they go broody, they seem to go off of it. It's really infuriating. All the sticks here are left over from the hedge trim, so we'll get those tidied up. But looking across the main lawn, the little vincas are in flower. And then coming up through the mulch, we got some more. We've got hollyhocks coming through. This is the most amazing hellebore. I'll show you that when that's in flower. Coming through. Lots of bulbs coming up. They look like irises. We've got lots of bluebells. Unfortunately, more the Spanish than the native. Don't know if you're picking up this because of the sun. That's a pink climbing rose, so I think I'm hoping it will go up the hedge and give that some colour. And here we have masses of snowdrops coming through this border. Absolutely beautiful. To the Pittosporum obsidian, which is the black one, which they're not my favourite plants, but oh, who's not going to like that colour in the garden? This used to be one big massive shrub here that we took out about 2 years ago, and this is where we keep the lupins, and this is where we grow the lupins. Got lots of those. Crocuses, so there's crocuses here, snowdrops, and we've got lots and lots of ferns in here, delphiniums and things like that. For me, this feels like the centre of my universe. This is my world, this is my family. I just appreciate it every single waking moment. I even dream about it. I dream about being in this garden. I love listening to those birds. You know it's spring when you are greeted with the most amazing dawn chorus. They're loving the bird tables at the moment. I'm loving the bird tables at the moment. I'm just addicted to them. I've just literally filled up my bird care tin again. These girls and boys bring me so much joy. I love watching them have a dust bath. I don't want to disturb them, so I'm not going to go closer. All of these are all rescue. Every single hen I have, bar one, is a rescue. She was bought for my birthday when we first moved here, and that's the little white one. All the bantams were rescued middle of last year. And then these guys here, these girls, these were rescued from a cooperative that were giving up their hens, and these were all destined to have their next run, and they're still laying eggs. It would have been such a shame. And I love my shepherd's hut. I snooze in there. I'm known for walking around in the middle of the night and sometimes I end up in there. Just the best mornings to wake up to. Not everyone's cup of tea is crowing cockerels, but for me, I just love it. The light levels in spring are just captivating, aren't they? Just looking at the cottage from under the cedar tree, and the sun is beaming through, and it's almost magical. The cottage has always felt magical from the moment we saw it. It is such a fairy tale cottage. It sits so well within the landscape. It's been here for over 600 years. This brings me so much joy. I used to walk around this corner and it'd be met by a meh area, and now look at it. Look at the colours here. We've got the most gorgeous variegated leaf on the hellebores and on the Fatsia japonicas, and just the light is dancing around here. Absolutely gorgeous. Towards the back gate. Oh my goodness, that's a sad bird table. Let's get these filled. Side garden still got a little bit of colour coming through from the tiny cyclamen, the white cyclamen, and then we've got the daffodils that I planted late last year coming up. The viburnum there is just looking like it's ready to flower. Castor oil is looking gorgeous there. You might be able to hear the robin noisily. It's arrived! My David Austin rose. Yeah, this arrived 4 days ago. So you have to plant within 7 days. So I'm still within the time scale. I've got a bucket of water that I've got ready. It's a bare rooted rose. It's arrived. I'm beyond excited because this is going in the front garden in a prime position. So let's just unwrap it. I'm just walking the dog at the lakes. It's an absolutely calm, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day today. So we're very lucky. We've got the lakes are not probably a stone's throw from the house. You do need to get in the car to get here. But these lakes are a stone's throw from the house, so I thought I'd come and have a look at them this morning. The sun's starting to come up. Been very peaceful here until now.